Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap Live Trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and let's go through some live analysis here. That's what we do Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So again, like a whole process here. Good morning, Levy. It's crashing. We need help. So let's we'll jump in here in just a second. But we have an educational course. Then we have the live analysis to match the course so that you can get the most out of Bookmap. Then we have live trading with Jay Trader, Stocks Trader, and Scott Pulcini, a futures trader, Wednesdays and Thursdays, so you can learn from specific traders. And what how they're managing their trades, how they're getting in and out, etc. We have Tom B. He'll be on in another hour and a half at 11:30, and he'll go through volume profile analysis. And we just came from the webinar with Rain. He is a crypto trader, so you might want to jump over to that. There's a recording on that if you are interested in checking that out. We're growing and offering more and more here. So anyway, let's jump into these markets. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, good morning, everybody. Let's see here. Let me jump over into Discord. Everything is good. All right. Oh, okay. I guess over in Discord you guys couldn't hear me. Can you hear me now? So yeah. Anyway. Okay, good. Okay, we're all set. All right, well, let's take a look here. We had non-farm. You can see it right here at 8:30, boom, to the upside. And then look at the 9:30 cash open, boom, to the downside. Testing where these buyers came in at this point here. Now, I just wanted to kind of take a bit of a step back here and you can see the title for this webinar here is market structure and order flow on higher time frames. All right, so we've been talking about market structure Monday and Tuesday, and I mean, we've always talked about it and how it's such an important element in here to understand. There is a key to the market structure that we really want to understand, and we've talked about this many times as well. In fact, let me go to our YouTube channel and we can go through some of the videos in here. If we click on videos, and you'll see all the recordings in here, and you can sort them by let's see, not by those, but let's take a look here. So reading market structure, momentum, trend, the importance of market structure. These were the last two. Reading order flow and who's in control. This is the part that I really want to focus on, is not reading. We'll get to the reading of the order flow. That's what we're here for in the live market, and give insight to where we think price is going to go next. But we want to read who's in control. All right, so we're going to be talking about market structure and who's in control. You'll see other ones in here. Again, market structure. And what was the other one here? Point of control, that's a little different. Who's in control here back a couple of weeks ago. So this is a theme that we've been talking about, and how do we identify who's in control? All right, very, very simple. Let's just take a look here. All right, so zooming out a bit here in the ES, well, we can see that buyers took control very clearly. Okay, now this was aided by data. All right, so and here the buyers are coming in again right now. All right, so who's in control is just very simply looking at who's taken this market into a direction. We can see it really kind of started down here And then we had the news though, right? Now the news, you can see everything changes, right, around the numbers. So in fact, let's clear our drawings just for a second. The volatility in here, this is something I just really like in Bookmap, is look how you can just read in the, it tells you everything. It tells you, the chart is telling you right here, be careful, there's something going on in the market, right? In this moment right here, it's telling you, like, what's going on with this liquidity, what's happening to all the orders, where are the participants, why aren't they in the market, why aren't they providing liquidity? Okay, because there's risk. When you see this kind of thing, you'll see it also at times. And if you don't have your news feeds up and you're listening to news, you'll see this as well, and it'll be some geopolitical event that's unfolding, and you'll see some volatility, and you'll see the pulling of liquidity, and you go, what's going on here? This will key you into it. There's so many interesting things here that Bookmap shows. Another one is when you look at Bookmap and you start to see liquidity acting very strangely, and it's not like how you typically saw it maybe a few days ago. In the futures market, that typically means that it's rollover. There's so many times I've looked at like crude oil, or usually the monthly contracts, not the quarterly ones, and just thinking, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's wrong with this? You look at the market and you go, oh, it's got to be rollover. The orders are going to tell you that. The participants in here are going to tell you that. Right, so the participants here are telling us, as you can see them pulling liquidity away, these guys actually stayed. That's also telling us these guys here, they stayed. Okay, now these are larger players here, and they're staying in the order book for good reason. They know what they're looking for, and that whatever the numbers may be, according to them, and they have boots on the ground. They have deep pockets. They can really research some of these events, and they'll stay in the order book. Right, so these guys stayed, and they filled here, 39.80. They stayed in the order book down here, and completely absorbed anything that traded down here. Okay, in fact, it didn't quite make it to their 108 and 104 contracts. Now look, a large lot tracker here is showing precisely that, right? So they traded into this liquidity, and it's still in the book, right? So it was 54. It was 107 contracts. This is the same player again, okay? Because why do I think that? Because it's 100 contracts on 3 different price levels. They just kind of skipped the 65 here, and then they started getting filled here. They're still here, right? And out of those 105, 103, 70 of them traded, right? And then price started to go the opposite direction here. So they're getting filled, and that's just fact. Okay, I'm not trying to glean anything from it right now. We're just showing that these larger players stayed in the order book, and they started to get filled, and there was not enough sellers to hit lower into that liquidity. So that's telling you something, right? Not enough sellers, buyers come in. We make a higher high. We come up into this liquidity at 4,000. Right? So lots of things to glean from the data, from the information, and start to understand what's going on in here. That's very, very helpful and insightful. Anyway, down here we were noticing this is where the buyers came in, and we started to see these buyers come in again. All right, now let's just ask the question again. Who's in control? What do you guys think? In fact, I'm going to put in a poll here and I'm just going to call it this morning. Okay, All right, there we go. So what do you guys think, and why? So yeah, let's see how many people have participated. Only a few. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's looking pretty good. I mean, it's such an easy question, but you know, kind of infantile. But understanding this is so important, and we're understanding this within a context here. We have an event, and we can see the reaction to that event, and they're still in control. They're still buying down here. Okay, so let's mark it up. There's buying in here, and then there's also from the event, there's buying in here. All right, now you can see them in here again. Right, now sellers come in. Okay, but the big event is the buying here. They're in the book also supporting it here, and here they are again. Okay, so we can look at this, and we can look at when they may come back in. And I should have probably just stopped the webinar and not gone through that fundamental event, because this is a pretty easy catch here, a pretty easy move, I think. The buyers are in control, and they're down here buying again, and we're up here. Great. Let's go up to here. Let's go up to 40.10. All right. Now, again, not trade recommendations in this room, but we're looking at where price may go based on the analysis. And in this case, we're looking at structure, and we're looking at who's in control in that structure. All right. And that's basically it. So we're looking for up to 410, maybe 415, maybe 420. We'll watch and see. The order flow is going to tell us. That's what's the key here. Okay, so we're up at 4,000 right now. Let's take a look. What unfolded? Well, you know, you can see liquidity here getting filled, and they also flipped. Let's read the flip a little bit. Okay, stop run as well to the upside into high liquidity here at 4,000. Traded up above it. And then they flip also. This little push here, you know, you can see a larger player in here. That's kind of, you know, that just really is kind of like wind at your back, kind of a big kind of push through a level here. You know, this we see this kind of behavior like this. There's flipping, there's ignition algos, etc. You know, the ignition algo, the classic look of an ignition algo, this isn't really it, but it is definitely a kind of a push here. Up into and through that area, and then these can be really nice trappy areas, in fact, that you can look to see where maybe sellers start to come in. Right? We don't see that yet, but we're looking. All right, and we're going to look at the structure in here for that to unfold. Okay. Okay, so now we got some different votes in here. All right, so this morning some sellers in control. All right, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're starting to take control here. Maybe. I don't see it yet. Okay, but above 4,000, we've seen the trap above 4,000 so many times. Or above key figures, and this is no question a key figure. Let's see, Sam, if you were looking for shorts at 06.5, what would you want to see in the order flow? Okay, well, it's really there's all sorts of things to take a look at in the order flow. And what it might look like. You know, first off, typically one of them is very simple. Okay, sellers now, you know, this is where that 10% said that sellers are coming in. Maybe I'm not sure yet, but typically what Sam, what we see is high liquidity getting filled on the way up. Okay, staying in the order book, getting filled on the way up, and it may trade into. I mean, there's just so many variations on it, but really, it's pretty simple stuff that we're looking for. There's variations where maybe there's no liquidity up here and it just exhausts out. It doesn't find any more buyers, or maybe there's high liquidity also up here at the peak. It trades, maybe just kind of ekes through a little bit and then gets slammed on the other side. Okay, sellers come in. Like here's where you can see in this smaller structure where the sellers are coming in. Okay, right in here. Okay, this is the structure, and this is where the sellers came in. All right, so it's pretty clear. It's pretty easy to see, and then look at the sellers come in now. All right, so all right, let's see if they can now. Maybe they're taking control, and we're gonna come down to 95, and then maybe 92 here. Okay, well, let's just watch here. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm not sure about that yet. Again, sellers in here, pull back. All right, yeah, let's see these sellers take it down here to, we're already at 95, so let's see them take it down here to the swing down here in 92, this liquidity down here. Okay, so we are seeing the sellers come in. All right, where they're starting to take control on this time frame now. Okay, does that make sense now, what we're looking at, and starting to understand these kinds of turns in the market? Phil, I totally disagree. You're saying that no offense, but the current bookmap chart is a bit useless for trading today. Not at all. I mean, we're looking right at it, and we're noticing who's in control. So we were looking at 95 being hit just a few minutes ago, and then it's already been hit. Now we're looking for 92 to hit. Okay, and it's working its way down there. So I think that's showing tremendous value. Right. So anyway, hey, negative feedback. Bring it on. Not bring it on. I'm not encouraging negative feedback. I like negative feedback as long as it's objective. That's all. Like, it just has to be objective. If it's something like something just negative that's not objective, then it doesn't have any value. It has no value at all. Okay, so all right, well, the move down here, just all it did was break the swing here, and then we see our buyers come in and hand over fist again here. Yeah, there's always something to learn, always something to glean here. All right, but it's testing where these sellers came in here. Okay, so this is a lot of volume coming in here, though. So it looks like they're going to power through it to me. Okay, well, do we get our buyers up here? No, not really. In fact, quite a bit of selling. This is turning into a big battle up here, right at this just above 4,000 at 01 basically. Here's our 930 cash open up here. So this is where the sellers really came in. Yeah. All right, let's just draw that up here. This is where those sellers really came in, and they came in again here and drove this lower. Okay, this is our buyers coming in down here. Okay, and then they're breaking that here as well. Okay, so this is very short-lived here on that sell side, looks like to me, yeah, lots of buying, and looking for buyers to continue then. Okay, so looking for them to hit now, up into, going for the 410 level up here, 4010, sorry. Okay, this is going to be key here. They got to get through these sellers here. Okay, they still buying? Yep, still buying here. All right, buyers right here. If you can lift it above these sellers here. Let's see the move, and let's see if we can get up to, yeah, I like, Sam, your 6.5 idea and that liquidity up here. Looks pretty good. Okay, so let's see if the buyers can reach up there. It's looking pretty good so far. They are supporting it here as well, on the bid. Thanks, Phil. Okay, yeah, now very positive feedback. Sorry, there's a lot to read in here, Phil. I appreciate it, though. Good discussion. So let me just kind of read through it just a little bit. Yeah, here are buyers, guys. Okay, so we a little bit of a bobble in there on that sell side, but we kind of recovered from it and looking for these buyers here, and looking for that. Well, we said kind of the swing up here, this kind of 06.5, 7 area here looks pretty good, up into 10. All right, so but that's what we're going with so far. I kind of like to see, Phil, that actually not bouncing around between areas. I like to really see the context between the buyers and sellers and liquidity in here. Not that it's just bouncing around between a range. Did they take it? Did they trade it? Do we see the aggressors starting to come in here and move it? Yeah. So for example, oh, I don't have Hero. I had it yesterday. I was going to look at something Doug was looking at, and his kickoff strategy, which I thought was really great. So like on this move down in here, he'd see Hero going up and giving him just way different diverse signals here. And it's like, well, what's up with that, but he's waiting for the aggressors to come in, and that's the whole idea of the kickoff metaphor. They've kicked the ball off. Now he's waiting for the men on the field here to move the ball, and that would be the aggressors. All right. Yeah, so nothing to do really. We're just waiting for this to hit higher. Again, not a trade recommendation. I always got to say that, but McGuire, yeah, okay. So I see you in Discord. Yeah, I got your DM yesterday. I'm sorry, I didn't have time to get to it. Okay, I briefly saw it on the way out. All right, let's zoom out a little bit more here and see what's going on. We can take a look at our higher time frame candlesticks in here. You know, it's kind of upset with these candles in here. Something happened, some kind of weird data in here on the daily chart. As you can see, the S&P supposedly went down to 0, and you know, now it blew out the whole daily here, which is too bad. I can't see it unless I look at maybe like 2 bars or something, 3 bars or something. But we can look at the hourly in here, and then we can look at the 15-minute. So 15-minute and an hour look pretty good. I mean, like back up into these wicks in here, and that would be about 11 to 18 or 17, and you know, we already kind of filled the gap here on the 15-minute, and we're up here on strong buying, so let's see if these buyers can break it here and then move it on up into, we were looking for just 10, right? Well, I mean, it can keep going. It can go up into the wick up in here, somewhere between 12 and 17. It can keep going further. This is why we need to look at the order flow and try to understand or ascertain if it's going to keep going or not, and then manage the trade along that way. You know, so let's jump back in here, guys. Here's our move. This is what we were looking for. Okay, and it's already into 10 right now. All right, so our 17 level. Now we just looked at 17. Now see how it's red up there? Let me just turn the heat map dimmer up a little bit or down a little bit. You can see it in here between 15 and 17. Quite a bit of high liquidity in here. Okay, it's basically the same thing we're just looking at on that 15-minute chart. All right, so yeah, still looking for these buyers to remain in control until we see something else. Okay, does that make sense? Is there anything else that you know, you guys want to take a look at here? I mean, we're looking at some pretty simplistic stuff, trying to understand who's in control in this market. Sam had an aha moment. Let me see here. Enjoying the conversation, Sam. Thank you. And Phil, good stuff. Yeah, I agree, Sam. You're comparing the order flow to reversals versus continuations. You will see the distinction. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we see again and again is this kind of kind of did it here, guys. Like I said, until we see something different in here, this is going higher, right? That is the order flow read here. Okay, I don't see anything in here to justify any other outlook at the moment. Okay, now that can change, right? I mean, we can maybe we see the flip all the time, so maybe it's just heavy liquidity comes in here, very aggressive, spoils the whole party, right? But you know, maybe some quick move all the way back down to, you know, 10 and through it back down to 07. You know, we don't know what might unfold here, but until we see that, and hey, you know, it kind of starts with little things like this. But you know, the read is still here to the upside until we see something different. Okay, like off of this right in here, we got to find buyers. We've got to. Okay, if we want to, if they're going to go higher, this is where we've got to find them. Okay, so it's confusing when we have too much liquidity above and below. No, I mean, just align this with your higher time frame. Okay, just like we did. Okay, so in here, this, I mean, see how you're just kind of flying naked in here? You just can't see. Now we're kind of getting into that zone, right? We're into 12, and it came up to about 12 and a half, 13. And we said somewhere between 12 and 17 or 15, and then we noticed 15 and 17 here. Okay, so another thing what I want to mention here, so yeah, high liquidity, and what you can do though in the heat map is just right click on it and go to heat map settings, or you can come also up to studies configuration and then go to heat map here. Okay, and then in here you can play around with some of the settings, the upper and lower cutoff. So I'll maybe demo how this works here to help you out. Like you're just looking for areas of high liquidity by using this upper and lower cutoff. All right, now you can also use exact size here. So let's just restore it and I'll show you what I mean here. Exact size, so the cutoff, what is going to be the cutoff? All right, so let's put in a cutoff here. Let's look at the order book in here. What's high liquidity? Well, 575 contracts up here, that would be high liquidity. What's low liquidity? Well, that would be 78, 67, 65 down here. All right, so let's make the upper or the lower cutoff 100. Okay, so what just happened? What do? We just cut off and they're completely black, anything that is 100 or below. All right, it's completely black, as you can see in here. All right, so we're just showing high liquidity. Maybe this is a better session for you guys to take a look at, or I mean a better filter. It's really up to you. It depends on if you find it confusing, maybe you find this easier somehow. You can also use the slider here. Okay, it does basically the same thing. What about the upper cutoff here? All right, well, let's try that. Now if we go all the way here, you can still see some in here, right? So what if we go here and we say, now you see it's at 1 right now, so there is no cutoff. The whole thing is if we put in 0, the whole thing will be, oh, we can't do that. All right, let's input on the upper cutoff, right? It's the opposite. So we want to say like everything above, let's say 500. Whoops, above 500. Okay, we'll only show that liquidity. That's anything above 500. Okay, now we really cut out a lot, right? So maybe this is helpful for you. It really depends. You see, we start to zoom in a little bit. It starts to show a little bit more, and zoom in here, and then now we can start to see, okay, these areas here. Oh, okay, so these are the only ones that have some color here. You can see the gradient in the heat map. Like the highest level in here would be 500, and here it is here at 17. Okay, so that might be helpful for you. It's up to you. I usually find that the default is really good for me. Works well for me. And then I also play around with the dimmer a little bit, basically, and that's it. All right, guys. Well, so anyway, what was our thesis down here? Do you guys remember? Or what were we looking for down there in that area? Phil, you want to take a look at some stocks? Sure. I have NVDA, Apple, Amazon, and Tesla open. We'll take a look at a few of those. All right. Okay, so do you guys? I'm looking for an answer in here. What were we looking for down here after we drew up our lines in here off of this little kind of cross of lines here? And who is in control? Two. First off, the answer would be like who's still in control, and what were we looking for down there? Really? Nobody? Come on. Somebody. Exactly, Sam. Buying volume, buyers. Okay. And who is in control? Buyers. Yes, exactly. And look what we just traded into. Exactly, Phil. And look what we just traded into. Okay. So into high liquidity in here. All right. Now, buyers still remain in control. Okay, so we're still in this on the buy side. Just because this liquidity gets filled doesn't mean that it's over. Okay, there still might be buying pressure in here, and we're watching. Okay. Okay. Now, and we'll notice when there's sellers coming in. So this is another way to consider managing your trades in here. Does this work on over-the-counter stocks? No, James. Over-the-counter stocks. See, there's a little bit of a difference starting. I mean, now this is kind of, it might be significant. We'll see, because we made a lower high here, and then we're starting to see the sellers come in. But this could just be, just another pullback here. What I wanted to cover here is another way to consider managing your trades here is you just let it run until you see the sellers coming in and taking control. So very, very simply, like like the idea would be the same as if you were let's take a trend line example here. Okay, we'll edit this one. Okay, we'll go off of this here. Okay, so if we break the trend line and we see the sellers down below, like that's when you can consider, like, you have more of a reason now, and you see a lot of selling coming in. You saw a move into high liquidity up here, and maybe it also exhausts out. It fails to make a higher high. You see the trend line break. You see lots of sellers driving it in and below the swing here. Now you have something. Now this is what you'll give up by doing that. You'll give up from 19 down here to 14 or so. That's 5 S&P points. Okay. However, you wouldn't be getting out here at 17, or out here at like 12.5 or 13 or 15. You'd still be in this. So and it still may go higher, right? So letting it run basically is what I'm talking about, just staying in it until we see something different. Okay, so this is again good buying off of this level in here. Okay, so still looking, buyers still in control, nothing to do. Okay, now we're talking about like some higher time frames in here about who's in control, but I know a lot of you guys aren't scalping for a tick or two, and a lot of you are. We're just covering something a little different here. Okay, so now we covered that. Oh God, we saw it starting to happen down here, this move. Okay, and then I went over and I covered this here, but I mentioned it earlier. They were coming back in, and there's good reason for them still being in control down here. Okay, and then we covered that. All right, so yeah, and this is from kind of 78 on up until almost 20 here. Okay, well, let's just call it 15. 75 to 15, so let's just call it something like that. So that's 25, 30, that's 40 points right there. Anyway, just to what my point is here is, like, understanding who's in control in areas, and recognizing that, and then recognizing also that they remain in control until we see something different here. Okay, now we're up here, and we're kind of watching to see if, I mean, buyer is still in control here. Now we're breaking our trend line. Okay, but this is where buyers are still in control in this area in here. Okay, and it's still holding the structure here. Again, the structure is like this. Okay. In fact, we can just and take it across here. Okay, so we're looking again for buyers in here. Okay, to move it on up into 20. All right, so Phil, I mean, we're getting pretty lofty up here. All right, so we may see sellers come in. I don't see them yet. Okay, in fact, we are getting buyers up here. So we need to see, and we need to kind of watch and manage accordingly. We've broken this trend line. Okay, and now we see some sellers down below it here. So we're getting some back and forth here now. Okay, I still don't really quite see the sellers come in yet. You know, I just don't see it yet. We see this move to the downside, also some sellers here, but that's just not enough yet. All right, so anyway, still looking for more buyers in here, and still looking for it to take it higher until we see sellers. All right, so let's jump over and let's take a look at NVIDIA. Phil, take it away. What do you think? Buyers in control, sellers in control? Okay, now this has not broken out from its swing here, and the S&P, I think, has, right? Yeah, no question. That was what we're looking for, was above 10. Yeah, absolutely, Phil. Buyers in control. Okay, buyers in control from down here, and they are still firmly in control, looking for 142. All right. Yeah, price has gone up about $5 since then. Yeah. Okay, what about this consolidation in here? I'm still seeing a lot of buyers. I'm not seeing, there's some selling in here, little hook of selling in here, but it's still mostly buyers. What about liquidity? Do we see a lot of liquidity getting filled? Some here, but they're on the bid still at 141. Okay, so yeah, we're looking for buyers off of this area in here. Where they came in. All right, let's jump over to Apple. What do we see in Apple here? Wow, interesting chart. Look at the non-farm in Apple. Great chart. That could be a Kandinsky or something, right? You can put that in hang that on the MoMA. So let's see here. I think I think I've got some weird settings here. No, not really. Okay, on the volume dots. Let's just make the volume dot size a little bit bigger. See, Apple is not as clear at all, and there's a lot of selling in here. I mean, I see selling in here. I see selling in here, even though we're going higher. Okay, Phil. So you're looking at the overnight session there. You're going to go with a Chagall. Okay, not a Kandinsky. All right. Um, the well, this is a harder read for sure. You know, I don't know what to make of Apple right now. I'm just going to kind of skip over it here. I mean, I see all the selling in here, but this is a kind of what you know we look at as the move above and the pullback to it, and then the move through it. Okay, so yeah, just looking for our sellers if they're going to come in or not as we go higher. Now, that kind of brings up a question. Is it possible for the market to go higher on more selling? What do you guys think? All right, and then let's jump over to Amazon and take a look here. Okay, something interesting just happening right now in Amazon with the selling coming into this high liquidity. Now this is a larger player pulling that liquidity, adding higher, pulling, adding higher, pulling, adding higher, and getting filled. Okay, so exactly, the buyers can absorb the or the selling, like as can the question is, can price go higher on more selling? Yes, absolutely. And they can absorb on the bid and then raise the offer, and then it just takes very little to trade higher, even though there's massive amounts trading on the bid being absorbed. Okay, so, or some variation of that. Yeah, I mean, in stocks you see it a lot, or I see it a lot more often in stocks, and it just looks so weird. And yeah, I mean, if you can't make sense of it, like in Apple here, I'm not really seeing how to kind of make sense of that. And if I can't see it, yeah, I'm just going to stay away from it. All right, so yeah, Amazon, beautiful move here. Again, this is very similar to the S&P in the sense that this is where we saw that the buyers taking control and moving it on up. Sideways consolidation and continuation. Now we're seeing something different, right? And we can see it in here. All right, so now sellers are coming in here in Amazon. Okay, moving it right back down into this 130, 130.50, sorry. Okay, now I don't see liquidity there. It's mostly down here at 130. So looking for these sellers here, and let's see if they can continue moving this here. Might get a pullback here to this 70 level first. All right, now let's do one more here. We'll take a look at Tesla in here. Okay, Tesla is doing something similar. We're seeing this kind of reversal here, right? Now let's get the candles off. Okay, and let's take a look. Boy, Tesla has just been really odd compared to the other tech stocks. Really odd. I mean, sellers clearly in control in this one. Okay, here's our cash open, boom. Here's the move back up, and here's where the sellers come in again in here. Okay, now they're moving lower. Great. Okay, how about a move down here, 75? Okay, we're at 76.5 right now. Looking for the move to 75. Okay, pretty strong selling coming in. Now we've looked at 4 different stocks in here, and we've gleaned a little something from 3 of them. Okay, even NVDA now is, look at the selling coming in here. So based off of these, I think we're going to see the same thing here in the S&P, and we do. Okay, so we did not see, this is where we're waiting and watching, right? And we're going through the scenarios. If buyers are still in control, we're looking for those buyers in here and then the move higher. Okay, they did not, right? This is where the sellers came in, and this is where the sellers are taking control. All right, so now where are we looking for? Yeah, 05 here, our 02.5 down here. Let's just mark them up. And also below the figure, probably around 98 or so, or 95, 98, something like that. Simon, can we go to the Nasdaq? Sure, we take a look at the Nasdaq. Okay, we drew up this line here. I forget what it was. It might have been from the swing. Yeah, it was from here. Right. All right, we're bouncing off of it, but let's take it off. It's a trend line. It's not a horizontal line, so I don't trust it. Floyd's Garage. Yeah, I'm not much on Gartley's and all that kind of stuff and fib patterns. There's our break, guys, in that ES. Okay, down to 02 already, or 03, I should say, 02.5. Okay, so sellers now. Now this is what I mean. We're learning or getting quite a bit here, I think. It was Phil's suggestion to take a look at some stocks, and those stocks and what we saw in there was kind of a leading indicator by then looking over at the S&P. Now, you know, they kind of all happen at the same time, but like you'll see the stocks move. It just makes good sense. I mean, this is an index, the S&P E-mini, and you know, you'll see the individual stocks move first, typically. Okay, guys, so now we're looking for more sellers. Okay, we're at 02. Okay, looking for the next one. Now we're going to get pullbacks in here. Maybe back to the 06 where it just dropped from. So anyway, what we're talking about is correlations, going through different correlations, and also talking about the just a kind of a quick kind of recap of some of the things we've been looking at. Who's in control is what we started with. Well, we started with, yeah, price structure and who's in control. Instead of price structure and higher highs and higher lows, etc., we're looking at we're integrating something new into the picture here, and it's not new. We've covered it so many times. It's new to what we were covering on Monday and Tuesday. All right, and the focus is on that. Okay, so here's our pullback. Again, now looking for sellers in here. Okay, and then looking for the move back down to the swing and potentially through it. There are a correlation tracker. There is here in Bookmap. I'll show you that tool. It's up under studies configuration. I think they threw it in there. No, it used to be. So what you actually need to download it, and you go to, let me show you where it is. Go to help, go to the user guide. Okay, that'll open up the knowledge base. The knowledge base is here. Now this is the user guide for Bookmap in general, but we want to go to the add-ons. So click on add-ons here, and then go over to, you'll see it in here, No, this is confusing. Okay. Yeah. Sorry guys. Okay, is not in the Bookmap add-on section. It is in the user guide section here. However, it's not in Bookmap. It's not in the studies configuration. It is as an add-on in here. All right, and you need to add it in. Because yeah, here, just to double check, no, it's not there. So let's go to, again, I'm sorry, so click out of add-ons, go back to user guide, and then look for correlation tracker in here. We'll scroll down and look at some of the indicators in here. Correlation tracker is here under number 5. Click on that, and let's to download it, it's right here. Okay, so let's download it. I'll click on that. It downloads it here. Okay, now let's go back to Bookmap, and we'll go on to configure add-ons, and we're going to click on here, add, find it, click on it, double click on it, add it, load it, select it, and you got it. Let's go to well, it depends on what you want to look at. You know, if you want to look at Apple, which I don't, I want to look at Amazon instead, and we'll make this, let's make it pink so it just stands out. Okay, all right, I'm waiting for it to load here, as you guys can see up here. And there it is. There's our pink line. So this is actually, you can even see a little reversal pattern starting to take hold in here in Amazon. But seller, to me, it looks like sellers took control over here. They're still in control. It's just and we just saw a quick jab down here. In Amazon, we'd have to look and see if we're going to get our buyers in here. All right. Else, this is like a head and shoulders pattern or rounded bottom. That if sellers are still in control, remain in control, we're looking for them to take it down below the swing here. All right. Now let's take a look at the S&P and see what that looks like. Very different pattern in here in the S&P. This is just, you know, sellers coming in, taking that down very, very quickly. Okay, not getting too much out of it right now. In fact, if you don't mind, I'm going to take the correlation off. Just deselect it here. It's still kind of loaded if I want to quickly load it. Okay, this is where we need to find our sellers, right here, right now, if we're going to get our continuation to the downside. Okay, so we're at 09.5, and we're looking for sellers right here around, I don't know, 8.5, I guess, and then to take it right back down, basically to 05. No, not getting it. Buyers coming in. Let's see if that can fail though. Okay, so all right, buyers are able to break away from that area in here where these sellers were all poised to take control of the market. Okay, and this is where the sellers came in, but you can see they're being kind of overshadowed here at the moment. We need to see some really heavy selling coming in here if this is kind of the last hold here for it, and I don't see it. I don't see it, not yet. Let's zoom out. Let's get our bigger picture approach here. Yeah, you know, that would be the read. Okay, so yeah, we'd have to see some pretty heavy selling coming in right now here around 15. If we get our buyers again, let's see, they start coming in back up to 20, or we never traded 20. We came up to about 18 or so, right? 19. All right, let me get to some questions in here. Oh God, where are we here? All right, there we are. Okay. A good discussion going in here, Sam, with Captain Price and Levy and Phil, Floyd, and his garage. Good stuff. Yes, newbie, that's right. The delta dots is buy minus sell, and then show it. So it's always going to be a green or a red dot. So it could be, if it's one more delta, like there's just one more buyer than seller, it's going to be a green dot, and it's going to be a small one. All right, guys. So up in here, we're starting. We saw these buyers starting to come in, but we're starting to kind of curl around and looking for the sellers to reattack these areas in here. Okay, so and then let's see if they can get back down into about this 07 level. I mean, they got to get through this 9 here. It looks like they're going for it. A lot of liquidity here on the offer, and the sellers starting to come in. So looking for them to try to take this lower still. Okay, down to 05 here. Oh, I'm sorry, Simon. You or someone wanted to take a look at the NQ. Sure. We'll come back at this, guys. I mean, this is kind of the battleground here at this kind of 09, but we are seeing the sellers coming back in here again. All right, so we'll come back and take a look at it. But that's kind of where I want to leave off on it right now. All right, and let's jump over here to Nasdaq, and let's see what we got in here. Okay, and I got all sorts of stops and icebergs on here. The on chart, I'm gonna take them off for a moment here. Okay, good. All right, just trying to get some clarity in here, and let's go to our heat map settings here too. Okay. Yeah, see this, so the selling in here coming in and taking control in this point in here is a lot clearer. And then here they are again, right? So we're looking for them. Take this down lower here, right? This is more of a pullback here. So let's see if we can get back down into 75-ish, or yeah, around 75, 375. Okay, pretty clear, I think. Pretty clear. Pretty simple read in there on Nasdaq, right? So we're about, around that 400 level here, looking for the move down to about 75. All right, Sam, you got the jokes going on Levi's. Simon, the very simple reason that we're looking at the ES so much is because that's what everyone wants to look at. If there's requests for other things and most people want to look at something, here I'll put a poll in. I love this new tool. What do you want to look at? ES, NQ, CL, stocks, or let's say other futures like bonds, or it could be, wheat, it could be soybeans, could be treasuries, whatever. Okay, so what other for futures? All right, so there you go. Okay, so anyway, we're still staying with this short price in here. Yeah, now we're getting lots of feedback in here. Yeah. So Simon, here's why. But thanks for the question. A few stocks, Tesla. Edison's a bonds trader. Charlie S. definitely wants to look at Tesla again. No exotic instruments, Captain Price. Okay. All right, so put your vote in. It's by far the ES is just dominating here, 77%. But only 26 people have voted, 27 people. And then Nasdaq is the next one by not by much. Not by much. CL and then others all are they're neck and neck. Gold is another one I know you guys like to look at. All right, I'll leave it up for just another minute or so because I want to put another one in on. Just to, I mean, this Simon brought up the question, and we're getting our feedback here. That's exactly what polls are for. All right, I'm going to close it, and let's put another one in here, one more, so you guys can see. All right. So what to look at: futures, stocks, or crypto? You know, we connect to all of them. We're trying to meet all your needs in here. You know, I mean, Bookmap originated from futures. You know, we have our base is kind of in futures. There's some reasons for that as well. I mean, the order book is so centralized compared to stocks, and crypto's not bad, but you know, with crypto the problem is you have multiple exchanges, and just not as much. I mean, the depth in the futures markets is really good with some of the instruments, and some of the stocks, you know, the depth can be very good too, but it's kind of scattered with the different you know, ECNs, etc. You know, to get a kind of a clear picture on what's going on in the stocks, it's just not as easy. Whereas futures is, I think, very, very transparent. Moreover, what we're getting in futures is the MBO data, okay, stops and icebergs, and being able to see that is just amazing to me. All right, you know, we're looking for sellers. We did drop here on this Nasdaq. Again, we got to find sellers right here, right now. If we don't, then buyers have stand a chance here of taking control away from this here. So we'd be looking for sellers right around this 410 level, and then the drop back down to our 395, and then maybe 75. Okay, so looking at this in here, control. Here, let's just mark it up. Control, nice big fat control there. Control. Now we're looking for control here again. All right. So we've been talking. That's been the theme on this one. Has been, you know, we want to talk about market structure and order flow on the higher time frames, but we're talking about who's in control and who remains in control. All right, Phil. Yeah, have a good weekend. Good discussion. Thanks. All right, let's take a look at our poll just for a second. Yeah, we're getting, I mean, here's our answer again. Like futures, 84 people. Now 31 have voted. Guys, we got 109 people in here, so you know, hit your vote. I mean, we watch this stuff, believe me. We're trying to appeal to you guys. And you know, I mean, Bookmap for stocks, I think it works great. I mean, look at these areas of high liquidity and understanding the context in here in some of these areas. There's also a new feed, not just DX feed. There's Omni feed, which offers a nice EARCA. So look into that as well. We just offered that. We just made that connection available. Okay, Amazon, like, okay, so this is our kind of controlled area in here by that sell side. Okay, and you know, is it significant enough? Well, they've been upended down here, and we're starting to get our buyers come in. Boy, I just don't see enough yet, though. I mean, this is a nice cluster here, no doubt, right there. Okay, but yeah, I mean, sellers remain in control from this point on. Anyway, it's something to watch. It's a geo capital is ARCA, ARCA. It's probably the biggest ECN, you know, New York Stock Exchange, and ARCA. Guys, give us a thumbs up in here if you like this. I was asking about you know, what you guys thought about this. You know, the last Monday and Tuesday we were talking about market structure. Okay, and this is a new kind of theme within the market structure. What you guys think of it? Okay, we're reading live price as well, but we're using you know, some of these elements here in the order flow. Okay, and then getting into the nuances around some of these higher time frame areas here. Like right in here, here's the battle zone here, right? Here come the buyers in Amazon. Now they got to get it back up above this little area in here. Here's our big cluster here. Let's see if those sellers, what if this is just a false breakout and sellers come back in? And then we're looking for 130.60 here. Okay, so it's $1.40 on the way down. Let's take a look at Amazon. Yeah, this is pretty good in here. It's pretty good in here. So, you know, buyers, this might be the kind of reversal we're talking about in here. Not seeing the sellers. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, we have potential here for these buyers to come in on and take over again here in Amazon. Okay, you like the market structure discussion? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit higher time frame, but then we can really get into the order flow around those areas to give us the insight. Yeah, Amazon's actually looking pretty good, guys. I think buyers are going to do it here, back up to here, and the high swing here around 31.40, maybe 50. That's where the liquidity is. I like it. All right, so now let's extrapolate that correlation over here to our S&P, and what do we see? Yeah, okay. We can see it in here. Those buyers starting to come in, and starting to come in here again. I don't know what I think of it. High liquidity in here on the offer, getting filled in here. Okay. Anyway, guys, we went through these scenarios in here on the read on the way up into these areas, and boy, that was actually a really nice move. And then and we also looked at our candles in here. Okay, the move up back up into this area in here, and it just went above the swing so far. And now we're just trying to get in some insight here. Well, what about now? Okay, so it's done that move, and you can see it's just kind of a you know, triangle or pennant in here right now on that 15-minute. Okay, here comes some buyers now, looking pretty good. I like it. All right, I think they can come up to this swing here, 17, 16, 17. What's the order book look like? There's pretty high liquidity here, 15, 16, 17, 18, all the way up through, as you can see at the round numbers. Looks good though. Still looking for it here. I think you know, we also have Amazon here, poised and ready to go, as you guys can see, right in this area here, back up to its swing between you know, 131.30 to 131.50 or so. Guys, this is a European close as well, so you know, there's going to be some volatility in here, so watch for that. A Boogie, yeah, I'll get to your question here. I saw it. Let me address it. Charlie S, if you're talking about implied orders, I don't know if these are like, is it open interest from options? All I know is that I look at the aggressor in here. I'm not looking into that kind of detail. Okay. It's just these are transactions. Okay, and oh, am I the founder of Bookmap? No, I'm not the founder. Our backstory, guys, it's great. It's a great story, and it's the truth. So I was not part of the original Bookmap team. It was a small group, and they were developing algos on their own. And our CTO, well, he's basically a quant that came up with a method for seeing. This is interesting stuff, guys. Like, it was looking for those buyers to come in here, and we're seeing a back and forth in here. This is kind of a hard area to read, and we also have this European close. So we do see the sellers coming in now. Just kind of waiting and watching to see who's going to take control in these areas in here. We do have lower highs in here, basically consistently all the way through, and I see lots of nice selling coming in here now. Right. So yeah, I'm kind of actually I'm earlier I was leaning for the buyers to try to rip away from this area in here. But now that I'm seeing that selling coming in, yeah, let's see if they can make it down to maybe some of the swings again down in here. So anyway, yeah, it's not much to lean on in here in my opinion. But so anyway, that guy he developed a kind of rudimentary version of Bookmap to see how his algo was performing. Any quant will do that. To understand their performance, they have to have some way to gauge it with the visualization when you're trading at very, very small time frames, sub-second levels. So that's why we retain that, because when you zoom into Bookmap in here, you can zoom into these crazy levels in here and see every single transaction down to, these are microseconds here, millions of seconds. These are billions of seconds when we get down into nanosecond resolution here. Okay, so it's all in here. And that's a big distinction between us and others out there. Okay, so it's pretty cool. We still have that in our roots. And then Bookmap, we were asked, or we showed that visualization to others, and they said, well, if you make that a platform, I'd buy it. And we said, okay, I'll get to it. A Boogie. Okay, so SVP and CVP columns are maxing out at the right at 14 to 15. Is that why there is maybe resistance in clearing above that area? Well, there is no max out on the columns. It will hit a certain area in here, and like everything else will scale. Okay, so if that's what you're talking about, I mean, this is just turning into a high volume node in here, and it just means there's a lot of transactions. Okay, this is another thing that a lot of traders, when they start to look at Bookmap, they're looking for signals. Well, Bookmap it's not really doing that. What Bookmap is doing, and this is what traders really like about Bookmap, is that it's just giving you the data. Okay, but it's giving you all of the data, like just about all of it in here. I don't know what else we could add. You know, you can have some sort of whiz bang indicator to show this or that or whatever, and we have indicators as well to show imbalances, or like, you know, market by order data down here with stops and icebergs, etc. But it's just data, and it's good data is what you need. It's the foundation in order to make good decisions, okay, or to give good information. And then from that information, you're going to start to develop you know, some sort of clarity around it, and then you're going to be looking for opportunities, okay, and then all of that over time will lead to knowledge, and then, you know, knowledge over time will lead to wisdom. Basically, that's the pyramid. Yeah, so anyway, back and forth and back and forth, looking, okay, buyers here, sellers here, I don't know. This is at 11:30 now. It's the European cash open, but look and watch in here. Like, we're going to end the webinar here soon in just a few minutes, but I want to leave a note on this. This is where, you know, we've seen this so many times during these sessions, that it's back and forth until 11:30, and then European closes and this market just zooms off into another direction. Okay, someone will take control after that close, and watch for it. You guys know what to look for. You look for the who's in control in specific areas. Okay, and right now we're just getting a lot of back and forth in here. We're trying to determine it, and it's just not enough yet to determine that. Okay, so we'll continue to look for it. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, you can, Captain Price, you want to develop an algo or API? We have an API. In fact, it's Java and JavaScript based, but you can also develop now in Python. We made a bridge for Python, so if you want to develop an algo in Python, which most traders are, or it's heavily used, so we have that now. Okay, so yeah, reach out to support if you have any questions about that. Yeah. All right, guys, see the buyers coming in now, right? You see after the close here. Now, got to watch it kind of carefully in here. I'm not too convinced by it here yet, but anyway, just leave it on that note. Okay. And any more questions in here? Okay, hi David, you're just popping in now. Yeah, we're just about to end. Yeah, guys. See, we just not looking for that clarity in here, just not getting it. You know, buyers in here, sellers in here, buyers in here, sellers kind of in here and in here and in here. We saw a bit of that, and this is even better though. They're starting to come in here. Okay, so no clarity at the moment on what's who's in control in this zone here, in this area in here, and that's what we're looking for, that kind of clarity. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for coming, everybody. The next week, Monday is off. That's a U.S. holiday, Labor Day, so no webinars at all. Everything is off, and we'll be back on Tuesday. So Simon, what's my preference, Simon? I like the NQ actually. I like the way it moves. The ES is a lot of back and forth, but it's been moving pretty well lately. When the ES is hard to read, or it's just moving like, you know, 2 points or something, 3 points, where we jump over to something else that's moving. And all we had to do was jump over to Nasdaq, and it was moving great. Anyway, Levi, or Levy, the crypto markets in the morning, we have Rain. He goes through crypto, and yeah, you might want to check that out. I was in there earlier today, just to, you know, kind of pop in and ask some questions. Yep. Heat map settings, my heat map settings, just right click here, heat map settings is basically default. Okay, except maybe the dimmer is a little bit higher here or lower. I don't know. Guys, just not, I mean, there's no clarity in here in this move right at the moment, right now. Okay, but we're looking for it, right? Maybe it takes another 5 minutes here. Yeah, go check it out. Let's see this. If you want to continue in here, Tom B, he'll be next. So you can watch his webinar. He's going to go through volume profile in detail. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. Have a great weekend. Oh, let's see our futures poll, future stocks, cryptocurrencies. Here it is, the results for you guys. Just put it in here. By far, the most of you want to look at futures. Stocks is 82%, stocks is 11, crypto is 5. Okay, so there's our answer, Simon. Yeah, I know, Simon, it's slow. The ES is slow, but most people want to take a look at that. You know, yeah, I really like the Nasdaq market, but anyway, guys, have a good weekend, and we'll catch up with you on Tuesday. Okay, take care. Bye bye.